In a single sentence, the Supreme Court on Tuesday unraveled the Orange Fuckweasel's grand plan to overthrow the 2020 election. The application for injunctive relief that was presented to Justice Alito and by him referred to the court as denied, wrote the court and rejected an attempt by Pennsylvania Republicans with the squatters' blessing to block the certification of the 2020 election results in the Commonwealth. President-elect Joe Biden beat Pumpkin Tits in Pennsylvania by just more than 81,000 votes. And thus it ends a month-long effort by Pumpkin Tits and his legal team to find some complaint in any election complaint that the Supreme Court would consider, and in doing so, probably open the door to him somehow winning an election that he quite clearly had lost. Beginning on Monday, our campaign will start prosecuting our case in court to ensure election laws are fully upheld and the rightful winner is seated. Pumpkin Tits said in a statement on November 7th, the problem is the rightful winner is Joe Biden. Same-day CNN and most of other major news outlets had projected Biden had won anyway, which he did. From that moment onward, the Pumpkin Tits team followed a slew of lawsuits in states that are far-flung as Arizona and Georgia and yes, Pennsylvania, and designed to lean on judges that he had appointed over his first term to delay or redo the whole election. The ultimate goal for Pumpkin Tits was going to get one of those cases of alleged election fraud in front of the Supreme Court, a court where he had appointed 3 conservative judges, most recently the dumb cunt Justice Amy Coney Barrett, and where the squatter clearly believed that he would expect a favorable ruling. That plan, it became clear, was deeply flawed. In late November, a federal appeals court flatly rejected the campaign's efforts to challenge the results in the state. And it says, free, fair elections are the lifeblood of our democracy, wrote Stefanos Bibas, a Pumpkin Tits appointed federal judge in the appellate court decision, and the charges of unfairness are serious, but calling an election unfair doesn't make it so. Charges require specific allegations, and we don't have any proof here. The Pumpkin Tits strategy utterly failed before the Supreme Court on Tuesday, failing to even convince a single justice to write a word of explanation or dissent for why the case would not be considered. And how did Pumpkin Tits and his legal team miscalculate so badly? Simple. Pumpkin Tits believed that the Supreme Court operates the same way he does, purely transactionally. But in Pumpkin Tits' mind, he had given Supreme Court seats to the dumb cunt Barrett, as well as the dumbass Neil Gorsuch and the rapist Brett Kavanaugh. And they wouldn't have been on the court without him, true, and therefore they owed him. That is, of course, not how the Supreme Court works. The justices are appointed by presidents who identify with one or the other of the major parties in the country, yes. And Republican presidents tend to pick justices who will offer conservative opinions from the bench, while Democratic presidents choose judges with more Democratic track records. But the Supreme Court isn't an elected body. The 9 members are purposely meant to be kept at a remove from the day-to-day political considerations that elected officials from the squatter on down have to calculate, and we know that the justices take that above politics mission very, very seriously. And when you live in a polarized political environment, people tend to see everything in those terms, says the Chief Justice John Roberts. That's not how we at the court function, and the results in our cases do not suggest otherwise. Unless you're forced to consider political matters, as the court was in Bush v. Gore in 2000, the justices want to stay as far away from politics as possible. Then there is the fact that the case Pennsylvania Republicans had appealed to the Supreme Court had already been dismissed by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court anyway. The only thing the Supreme Court may dislike more than getting in the middle of a political squabble is injecting itself unnecessarily into a matter that has already been considered and dismissed by the lower courts. And it's up. It's just added all up, and you can see that Pumpkin Tits' strategy of simply getting the case to the Supreme Court was always doomed to fail. And 3 of the 9 justices may have been appointed by Pumpkin Tits, and 6 of the 9 may align with the conservative bloc on the High Court. But they were never going to get in the middle of overturning the clearly stated will of the people because of those facts. That Pumpkin Tits couldn't understand that speaks to how incapable he is of understanding anyone who doesn't operate from a purely transactional place. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Rampant Mike, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.